wonderful weather tonight. A Tuesday evening in the USL Championship kick-starting the week. Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia, the site. Tonight's match is presented by Segra and features Loudoun United and the Charleston Battery. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, look at the Atlantic Division standings. Shows both these sides aren't where they want to be. Charleston is 5 points shy of Miami, but 3 games in hand, including a key one tonight against Loudoun United. Cellar dwelling at present, but a few wins would certainly change their fortunes. Devin, as I turn to you for the first time tonight, Charleston and Charlotte met last time out, and it felt like a turning point for the Battery, didn't it?
Has to be, because the win over Hartford Athletic wasn't enough. It was goals in the 53rd minute and the 93rd by Nicu Daly and Joel Bunting. Great performance, start to finish. This is a true rivalry game in every sense of it. But the big talking point coming out of it, Joe Kuzminski, only 18 goalkeepers all time have recorded an assist in a game, none of which have done it next to a penalty save. You'll see what it means to the guys at the end of it. Big names like Parfait Mandanda, Tomas Gomez, even some of the ones that you don't necessarily know. Akira Fitzgerald, one that people might recognize. But Loudoun United, they're hoping that they aren't kept at bay tonight, that they can break through and knock down Kuzminski, who wants to keep another clean sheet for a team that is one of the most underrated in the entire USL Championship. By expected goals, they're right there with some of the biggest names in the entire league. The problem is expectations and actual reality haven't exactly come to fruition for Ryan Martin and his squad.
No, they certainly haven't. That'll be in focus tonight. Also in focus is a twin. I can say this. You always dream against playing against your brother.
Who's the favorite? Pick one. You know Mom and Dad have a favorite.
In my family, that is the case, yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Ben DeRosa and Matt DeRosa, as if the dream could have gotten any better. Now an opportunity after being drafted this spring with a chance to play against each other. Mom and Dad, popcorn, bottle of wine, let's go.
As cool as the jerseys are, I love a good split jersey, and maybe that's the case up in the bleachers tonight. Got DeRosa versus DeRosa, but more importantly, below the playoff line, big 3 points between Charleston and Loudoun. Lineups kickoff coming up.
Download the new Loudoun United app to stay up to date during the 2021 season. Receive team news, roster updates, ticket specials, contests, and more delivered directly to your device.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
If you were injured tomorrow, the ER may not be your best option. At Ortho Virginia, we can treat urgent orthopedic injuries without an appointment and diagnose non-urgent injuries virtually through video visits. Take the first step toward recovery, because stronger starts here.
Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia. Tonight's match is presented by Segra. It's Charleston Battery on the road to take on Loudoun United. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr for what has to be considered the match of the evening. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. They're brought to you by Loudoun Economic Development. We begin with the roadside Charleston Battery under Mike Anhauser.
Couple of changes. The notable one that I want to talk about is on the back line. Ben DeRosa in. Logan Gadula is there at the outside back spot. Now that can flip-flop. I like the combination that Gadula has with Zico Lewis on the right side, but that is another change. Burke Failing will step into the midfield with DZ Harmon. DZ Harmon, men amongst boys. He can fly. He's got the physical attributes, everything needed. Can Mike Anhauser get that confidence level going to start to push balls up to the likes of Nicu Daly and Claudio Repetto? Repetto's been an excellent pickup for the Charleston Battery on there as an attacking option moving forward. For Loudoun United and Ryan Martin, as always, they make a ton of changes. Start at goalkeeper. Keegan Meyer comes in the net. Saravia into the lineup once again. Now, this is one of the great things about Loudoun United. You don't necessarily know what it's going to look like. This can shift into 3. They can pump 5 in the middle. Could easily be 6. I see this sitting as more of like a 4-2-3-1. Camarnie Smith on the outside. Paz on the left. Downs and Garay. Garay, one of the most efficient players in the entire league. One of the best performances he's ever put together in his career. Went 95 of 105 in passes versus the Charleston Battery last season. Not too shabby.
You see Meyer there did start against Charleston back on June the 9th. 1-0 Charleston win over Loudoun United. He also started away to Tampa Bay later that week. First time wearing the captain's armband for Ted Cu Di Pietro. And Loudoun looks for win number 3. Charleston gets the first touch of the game, and we are underway on a picturesque evening in Loudoun County, Virginia. Loudoun United taking on the Charleston Battery in the Atlantic Division. And Loudoun comes out of the gate sprinting. Maybe a bit of trouble there. Paz. Picked up here by Loudoun United. They do have Cairo Mustafa in the lineup, but still without Samson Sergi, among other players who were not selected but were available. Sergi dealing with an injury. Charleston has, well, Devin, a season packed with international call-ups, which is a good problem to have, and injuries, a problem every coach would like to forget.
It's got to be the biggest issue is injuries for the Charleston Battery. Mike Anhauser, especially on the attacking front, really struggling all season long. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Ortho Virginia, the official sports medicine partner of Loudoun United FC.
Woof. Attack on here for Charleston.
Watch out.
That's going to be a free kick and likely some bit of punishment. There is a yellow that goes with it.
It's not a red. Shouts from the sideliner that it's a red card. It's not. There's coverage by both the goalkeeper and the weak side. Hard to believe, but Owen Walls is making a play on the ball here. It's just an acceleration of speed from the little touch over Claudio Repetto. Walls gets turned around, and then a great job by Nicu Daly to take the perfect touch out in front. Yellow card is the correct decision. Slow start here for Loudoun.
John Griggs is the referee. And at this point, Charleston is jostling for an extra couple of inches.
Think about this as well. No Zico Lewis. No Robbie Crawford. There's your 1-2 punches from set-piece situations.
It does appear it's going to be failing with this horizontal run-up. This might be just far enough away to really stress Keegan Meyer. Failing does have a goal this year, but it was not off a set piece. It's a wall of 5 for Loudoun. Failing, unsuccessful. Let's take one more look at tonight's injury report brought to you by Ortho Virginia, the official sports medicine partner of Loudoun United FC. We don't usually do this twice, but it's quite the eye chart.
Van Schaik, of course, the one that is really going to bother Ganhauser, captain, center back, and then everybody on the front line. Rittmeyer, Sicero, Robbie Crawford down in the midfield, his running partner, Angelo Kelly. They did well for themselves in the pairing with Zico Lewis. Of course, that's not necessarily where you want the man from Bermuda.
Ball rolled ahead here, and dangerously still. Mustafa sliding in, and it is collected by Kuzminski. Ryan Martin up off his seat. Ball lobbed over the top. Good touch from Harmon. Harmon breaking through, rolls across, and now over the line. Repetto has scored again. Arrived as a trialist, and his scoring touch has been a Midas touch. 1-0 Charleston on the road.
Well done in transition here by D.Z. Harmon on the outside to pull this off his chest. Stretches away from him just a little bit. Not the greatest of touches, but most importantly, gets it out in front. Forces the defender to come all the way back across, and that little touch back behind. It's a deflection back across the middle. Repetto doesn't care. 4th minute, 7th appearance, 3rd goal in a Charleston Battery uniform. What a pickup he has been for Mike Anhauser.
3rd goal of the season. It's his earliest goal scored this season by a wide margin. And Charleston Battery under Mike Anhauser trying to grab another win in a row here and really get their road form going, Devin. It's one thing to do it at Patriots Point because Charleston has had no problem getting home points historically. This will get to Kuzminski. But to do it on the road this year has been a tougher task.
Their only win on the road is at Loudoun, to your point. I mean, they're 1-3-1 away from the home venue. And you do have to give a little bit more of a nod to the fact of all the injuries that they've dealt with. There's another foul. This one by Angelo Kelly.
Di Pietro to ground, and Downs having some words with Kelly.
With the understanding that those ebbs and flows, Mike, that you deal with at the beginning of the season, they're difficult enough for any coach within any system. But you basically lose all of your attackers. You start to bring some new blood in. Crawford gets injured. Zico Lewis was gone for Gold Cup. And it's not like they're losing these quiet names. These are big names. Van Schaik on the back line. A team can only withstand so much. And so for the Charleston Battery to recover in back-to-back wins, now to start early on the road against Loudoun, this is the up-and-up movement that Mike Anhauser's been looking for. Remember, I said to him last night, before we got off the call, I said, all is not right in the world unless Charleston Battery are in playoff position. Only team to make the playoffs in the modern era every single year running.
Di Pietro won a corner here for Loudoun. To the short post, skies into the air. And that's cleared, but Loudoun maintains possession now through Downs. Rolled wide by Garay. Clever move by Smith was broken up. Marnie Smith will throw again. Smith, so much collegiate success in the state of South Carolina, Clemson. Smith is 23, and Downs is 25 years old. The average age of this lineup is the youngest Loudoun has put out on the field all year. 20 years, just shy of 21, 20.8 years old. Ryan Martin has his hands full, trying to make sure these young players continue to develop regardless of results. And you and I know Ryan Martin well enough to know he's not satisfied saying, well, they tried hard. He wants wins, but you do need to find the right balance there. And Ryan Martin has done a good job getting young pros to the next level.
We've talked about so many times before that this team at the end of 2019, Mike, would have penned them up against anyone to make a run in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they would have won the thing, but the way that their form was really peaking at the end of the season, there were high aspirations coming into 2020. Of course, there were for a lot of people, and COVID set that back.
Di Pietro sending across, bounced by Paz, and Di Pietro lines it up again. Darluis Paz away from him. How many coaches have we spoken to in the Atlantic Division just say, watch out for Red Bull and Loudoun. You don't want to be the team that slips, but we showed it pregame. The expected goals would lead you to believe they're a finish or two away from taking points off good teams.
This team gets about 70% of the way there and then starts to stumble down the stretch. They set the tone, the physicality, tempo, press, defensive shape, all of that is usually there for them at the start of a match.
Oh, danger again, and it is in once more for Charleston. It's Zaracostas. And the youngest team Loudoun has ever started is struggling here with Charleston tonight. 9th minute, 2-0 down.
What a run by Nicu Daly. His first assist on the season comes in the most dramatic of fashions. Speed, space, everything on full display here. It's a little flick through and then he goes to work. Watch this open up. Yeah, it's a tiny deflection, but that touch right there gets in behind, turns on the afterburners, and then unselfish. Mike, this could have easily been one-on-one with Keegan Meyer. Instead, he knows that his compatriot has come all the way from Patriots Point to help him out on the back post. Zetacostas tucks it home for his third of the year.
And Devin, we might be seeing something blossom here the last week or two for Charleston Battery. They came into this year as the only team to knock off Tampa Bay multiple times. Ultimate thorn in the Eastern Conference champions side. Seeking ball, header back, Kuzminski will take over. Smith was pursuing. And with all the injuries and struggles they've had, the expectation was they'd roll right into 2021 and pick up where they left off. And they might have gotten a little lost in translation. I don't think anyone's taking them lightly now.
No, not at all. And if it wasn't for the injuries, you and I might be singing a different tune right now.
Yep. Into the penalty area again. Ball whipped through by Zetacostas. By the way, this is the first time Loudoun United's starting lineup would not be capable of buying a beer at the game. They've never been for the full 11 under the age of 21, according to Transfer Market.
There's always a bigger picture here for Loudoun United, and their capability has never come to question. Right now, just a very uncharacteristic slow start for the home squad that seems to always get out in front.
Harmon, and it's rolled just wide of the post. It looked like Repetto was looking to double his early scoring figure.
It's an interesting decision for Claudio Repetto to try and goal-to-goal here. There was a little bit of space on the back post, but Keegan Meyer actually shifted to the front side. There was good coverage defensively. Really thought he would have been better suited to hold this up, pull it back. Had Nicu Daly stepping inside the top of the box.
DeRosa. May have gotten over the grandstand. Garay. All of 18 years old, the straw that stirs the drink in midfield alongside Cu Di Pietro. Walls. Rolled by Pinto.
That was the generation of players included names like Moses Nyman and Jeremy Garay. Those two, it was fun to watch them work together.
And we'd be singing a very different tune if DC United hadn't brought some of those players along at this point.
Well, you would say woken up from their slumber, but they didn't need to be woken up to notice the talent that was Moses Nyman and everybody else that they've signed. There's another team, though. Talk about the injuries for Charleston Battery. Decimated as well for the MLS affiliate of Loudoun United in DC. Plucking a lot of the players away and giving them opportunities with that team.
Pause for Garay. Garay swiping that left of goal. Well, and a new coach, so you consider it through Hernan Losada, trying to figure out how to best utilize. Anytime you see such a seismic shift from such a stoic organization, Ben Olsen made it really easy what the North Star of DC United was for a long time. Doesn't mean that the time wasn't right for a change necessarily, but it does mean there's going to be aftershocks felt all through.
Well, the vision is always going to pick that star up. It's just, where is it placed in the sky? Right, it's comparative.
Good ball rolled ahead, and Loudoun unable once again to convert. Cairo Amastafa rolling off the edge, and it's another high XG opportunity without anything to show for it.
The speed on one side for the Charleston Battery will get them in trouble on the other because of the ability by every single one of these players coming forward. Cu Di Pietro, Kamarni Smith, Amastafa, all in combination here. They can absolute fly. Flat out. Put the ball on the ground, up over the top. Anything in those transitional moments. What it comes down to is the ability to execute. That's where Loudoun United get themselves into trouble, but they will continue to create for the full 90 minutes.
Muscling through Gadula. Taken back here by Loudoun. Broken up going the other way by Harmon, who's showing a bit of versatility positionally. There's a fearlessness to this Loudoun side. So often you see teams take one too many punches and they just don't get off the mat the same way. For a team with 2 wins and 11 losses, Loudoun has come out decisively looking to get back into the game here rather than move into damage control. Downs. Smith. Flag went up.
With guys like Nicky Downs and Jeremy Gray in the midfield, Mike, you're looking at 90+ passing accuracy. Gave the individual accolade to Jeremy Gray on what he was able to perform last year against the Charleston Battery, but consistency follows a lot of the guys on the interior. It's those key passes moving forward. I talked about them getting 70%.
Ahead for Harmon. Meyer, massive. There will not be an assist for him here. And somehow the offside flag was up.
Good on the goalkeeper, Keegan Meyer. Quickly comes off his line, keeps this out of the back of the net for sure. Would have been easily 3 for the Charleston Battery. And just going back for a second, Mike said that they get about 70% of the way through a match. Usually the 60, 65 minute mark is where things start to get them into trouble. Slow start tonight for sure. Could make the same argument as they move forward. They struggle with the final pass.
Harmon undresses DeRosa. Repetto. Good read by Downs. He's got a flyer out in front. Mustafa. I think he broke 4 separate ankles there. Garay. Matt DeRosa. Paz. Smith making this easy on Leland Archer.
No, but he's struggling a little bit in that 9 right now. It's unfamiliar territory for Camarnie Smith, primarily used on the outside as he was under Mike Noonan at Clemson University. Good tackle there. I think it's easy for people to sit at home and go, oh, well, he's up top and he's an attacking player. It's a totally different role, Mike. Back to goal, especially with a back line like the Charleston Battery, who they remain so intact, and you don't see a lot of varying between the 2 center backs. Well, they will squeeze you as tight as possible. 2v1 in a lot of situations, which means Camarnie Smith has to have eyes in the back of his head, has to understand where the runs are coming from left and right, and hopes that Kudu Pietro can create a quality relationship on the inside, because as good as Downs and Jeremy Garay are, they're restricted in their movements. A lot of times this is pretty much 3 or 4, which doesn't include either of your 2 holding midfielders moving forward. So for a guy that's used to being on the outside to now be stuck as the lone soldier up top, not an easy change.
Archer clears. Smith, 4th overall pick by DC United in 2021. You could argue that if you're going to get a look at him, now's the time and the place to do it in that number 9 role. He does have that sort of prototypical striker size, doesn't he?
He definitely does. The problem that he ran into was he was stuck behind a guy named Robbie Rogers. Robbie Rogers, of course, the number 1 overall pick coming out of Clemson. And Camarnie Smith, a year removed from that as he comes 1 year after. There was also Philip Mayaka, who ran the midfield for them. And the front line that would absolutely fly. Now, there was a lot of interchange between them, but so much of it was predicated on the fact that they had the ball out in front of him, Mike. In this system right now, Loudoun want to go quickly in transition, but the way that the game's playing out, you play him as the 9. So much of it is stagnant movement where you have to find a way to play off of him as opposed to into him. And that's what Ryan Martin's trying to find a way to do right now, is that space. Get the balls out in front, even if it's these little windows. Doesn't matter. Got to put it out in front and let him make a play on the ball.
Zara Costas. Chip that forward, nothing doing there. Robbie Robinson, rather.
Robinson. Why am I thinking Rogers?
Good player in his own right.
Stuck in the back of my head. He was a good player.
Yeah.
Apologies to Robbie Robinson. Inter Miami boy.
And I suppose apologies to Robbie Rogers. He's watching this game going, wait, what?
Wait, he's sitting. He's home and upset that he's apparently a rookie again, or sophomore season.
Downs reverses. Garay.
Funny how those names can stick with you.
Yeah. Pinto. Mustafa. Long look by the referee. There have been so many penalties this year given against Charleston, many of which they'd probably say under penalty-less circumstances for their words they didn't agree with.
Now watch the hands out, though, right there. The hands out by Smith are what start the problem here. Is there contact? Absolutely, but he looks for it. He reaches out as he starts to move in behind the back line of Charleston Battery.
Charleston trying to avoid any additional concerns here. They go 2-0 up inside 10 minutes, and naturally they'd like to see that out. Gave up a penalty against Charlotte last week, and Mike Anhauser said, unfortunately, it looked like the book was being written the same way. Alas, Kuzminski, a critical save on the penalty. This is a wonderful run into the penalty area for Loudoun. This falls. Pietro! The captain delivers a missile that gets Loudoun right back into it. First time wearing the armband, and that was a much-needed shot in the arm for Loudoun United.
First time he's got the armband on, too, Mike. You nailed it. Lead by example. XG was everything we talked about coming into this game. You can expect them to be good. You can expect them to create. But do not expect them to underperform. This team always rises to a challenge, even if for one of the youngest captains to step into that role in the championship this season. Quality finish by their number 10.
That goal is brought to you by Loudoun Economic Development, always here to help you with your business goals. Well, captain the other way is going to pick up a yellow card. So Archer into the book. Played every minute a year ago. Debuted for Trinidad and Tobago as a result of his outstanding performances for Charleston back in January against the U.S. And for Kudi Pietro, it's clear the talent he possesses. The goal he scored earlier this year, that was his second of the season, is stuff of magic out of Oakton High School. He just graduated a year ago and being entrusted with a bit more of a leadership role here tonight.
We have to continue to push him. It's the development that they love to talk about here within this organization. And for Kudi Pietro, would say one of the greatest assets you possess within that player, Mike, is his versatility. It's also one of the biggest issues that you have trouble finding regular roles within him because he's moved around a lot. That's not a knock on him. That's a great thing. Ryan Martin relies on that.
It's an issue where jack of all trades, master of none is 100%. What you can become if you aren't slotted one place and really get great at that.
Seen him play holding midfielder, seen him play outside, a false 9. You know, down underneath the striker to play off of. Of course, in the attacking midfielder role tonight, they've played him in a 3, they've played him in a 5. He's done everything.
And when you're 19, you still have to figure out where you can be the master of your trade to an extent. So
5 years from now, he could be a starting goalkeeper somewhere. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but that is the talent level that he possesses. You can move him into so many different areas. Look, Mike, when I was 19 years old, I thought I was going to be a center back. I wasn't positive. I was still being used as a holding midfielder.
And then Brian Schmetzer wanted you to be an outside back. That was a bridge too far. Correa sets this up. This teed from distance, excellent from Kuzminski. A massive denial. Marnie Smith trying to find his way. Mustafa up front trying to find his way. Can they get this attack pumping now that Cudi Pietro has opened things up?
It's just a sly little 5-yard ball that finds Mustafa. Nobody steps to him. The little pinch to the inside from the outside midfielder. Your player of the week, and Joe Kuzminski makes the save of the game 25 minutes in.
This corner kick is brought to you by Loudoun Economic Development, a team that's always in your corner. Corner Loudoun. And the service is just touched by Kuzminski. Rolls down the line and out the other side. Another corner. This could have gone entirely sideways for Loudoun. They've gotten off the mat, thrown a couple of tremendous punches back. Darluis Paz, high ceiling Venezuelan youth international, 3 years playing in the Venezuelan Pro League. Ball across here is steered away. And Nicky Downs recovers. Matt DeRosa, first round pick by Toronto, the preceding Super Draft. Paz swings the service through. Skied into the air, Smith underneath it, bobbled here, Kuzminski. Paid a bit of a price, a shoulder from Mustafa. And looking for his second assist in as many games.
I was just waiting for the run to happen on the DeRosa twin brothers going at it. There was weak side help for Logan Gadula as Ben DeRosa had come all the way to help out to the right backside. Matt DeRosa in a one-on-one, opted out. Imagine that family dinner.
You and I spoke with John Hackworth about last year going against his son who was at Memphis maybe 2 years ago. And he said there was no interest in paying for dinner the night before, that's for sure.
A friendly wager never hurt anybody.
No.
Mom and dad sitting at home just happy that they're not paying. Boys have full-time jobs now. That scholarship money used to get you into a good argument. Not any longer. Well, extremely intelligent young men as well. Ben DeRosa and Matt DeRosa, award-winning. Looking at academic All-Americans and what have you. Sasha Surofsky is one of the better recruiters in the entire nation of both players and people.
But it helps when you can go into one household and grab 2 MLS draft picks.
It definitely doesn't hurt.
That's a massive collision. It takes a lot for Harmon to go down like that. And Harmon had a lot to say in that challenge as well, and Saravia remains down.
I actually side with Saravia on this one.
Inclined to agree looking at the replay.
Harmon coming all the way back across the field, and the fact that you already have a position established. 100%. How we're pointing the other direction, I can't figure that out. 50-50 ball is the shouts that you hear from the sideline. The problem with that argument is it's momentum. You can't undercut a player. If you're going to jump, you have to go straight up. And if you do come from a different angle, you can't make contact. I don't make the rules. They're just that easy to understand.
Owen, when I say up, we got to go up, all right?
Sanavia showing a bit of leadership there vocally. He's got plenty of pellets plastered to his forehead, the Alexandria native.
How is this a foul on him? Okay. I'm quiet. I'm good. I'm done. I'm done for the first half. All good.
It's not going to be me.
How about them Giants? Let's change the subject. I'm in the wrong part of the country. The Washington football team. My apologies.
Believe the saying is, how about them Cowboys? But At this point, we might as well make reference to all the NFC East teams. It just doesn't feel right.
There you go.
That's caught by Meyer. Third start of the year for Keegan Meyer out of High Point, 3 years there. Spent last year with the Revs League One side, New England Revolution Dose.
Panthers, is that right? High Point Panthers? Sounds right to me.
Seems like something really worth Googling at this stage.
I'm digging into the well there, but I'm pretty sure they are the Panthers.
They are the Panthers, and their mascot is Prowler the Panther. I've been told by Dustin, our outstanding producer, who's totally at the switches tonight.
He's quite interesting on the right side, how Mustafa and Kemarni Smith much closer in proximity as opposed to Pass on this left side. We talked about the Venezuelan, Mike. Quality talent on the flank. Loved his ability. I shouldn't say love, that's past tense. I love his ability from a visionary standpoint, the willingness to cut in, always dragging runners with him and very understanding of the space around him, but not close enough to play off the 9 right now.
Handled by Meyer at the near post.
You can see a lot of that as they build. When they come back to front, a lot of that moves through the middle and starts to fluctuate towards the right flank, trying to play back through on the back side of it. And they do end up making their way back over to the left. It's just the starting point. Here's another good look of what I'm talking about, where they start to move, then you come back in, then rotate all the way back around.
52% down that side right now. It's normal, especially 30 minutes in, to see one side favored, but it's a pretty notable third of the field right now.
And this is, they start and come all the way back across. You would think that given the speed, in terms of the difference between Pass and Kemarni Smith and Mustafa, that might be the opposite, that you would start one way and then try and attack the right-hand flank, but they're doing really a little switch around from that.
Archer. Harmon. Considered the early ball. Drives, serves, back heel! Magnificent finish! And the celebration to go with it. Repetto acting like a star for the Battery.
No Rittmeyer, no Mason, no Sachero. That was the start of the season. Now, Jabel Perez out. Van Schaik, your captain, gone. And of course, the talisman in the midfield next to Angelo Kelly, Robbie Crawford. No problems here for the Charleston Battery in transition, though. The man-child, that is DZ Harmon, absolutely manhandles the left flank for Loudoun United. But it all comes down to the quality. The pièce de résistance by Claudio Repetto in the box. Spicy on the little flick of the heel to the back post. Apologies accepted, young man.
Came out of Genoa's academy, the Italian at age 24. So much of our conversation this week with Mike Anhauser was how, no, he isn't 4, 5, 6 years into his pro career. He did come to the U.S. late, went to college, but the maturity is most definitely there. And he's made it 3-1 Charleston Battery. And Loudoun respond. Smith, Downs, DeRosa. Flick on. Smith, grinding away for it, kept alive, Pass. Dancing, Pass serving, lines this out. Off of Hogan. Having fun yet?
What's the response here from Loudoun United? The slow start for sure was a major issue, but a quality recovery and just a little slip there. Still plenty of time to grab yourself another one just before half. At least stay within striking distance. Don't let this get away from you. This thing is starting to turn into a wide open match.
Di Pietro appeared to get leveled at the tail end of that. And a Loudoun foul. Kadula.
Watch the space, watch out.
Sarakostas, that was well closed. There is still all that room out there. Fullback never made the run pursuant to getting that wide. And it's taken away in midfield. It's 3v2. Smith. Kamarni Smith. Oh! Waving at it. Hopefully Kuzminski sends it out over the line.
This is better than the first one, Mike. What a tackle by Di Pietro. And then as they go here, better look by Nicky Downs is to the right shoulder, but still decent opportunity here. Love the vision by Smith to try and chip the goalkeeper. Waits, buys his time, and Kuzminski, he pulls the trigger early. He goes too quickly to ground, then has to make the recovery run. Really well done with that outstretched paw by the goalkeeper.
Is Kuzminski underappreciated in this league?
Yes, 100%. The problem is the names that he's usually behind, you can't really fault him for, right? Think about guys like, so Zach Lubin, pretty highly regarded. Carl Wazinski, another Phoenix goalkeeper. Evan Newton.
Evan Laurel.
Evan Laurel, Tomas Gomez. Rightfully so, you're talking award-winning goalkeepers.
Slaloming effort there by Repetto. Andy won a free kick as Downs goes in, and Repetto clearly in discomfort, to say the least.
You go out west, Logan Ketterer again. There's another big one.
Yep.
I mean, there is talent all over this league. The difference is some of those guys, Mike, from a media standpoint, get a little bit more push from their club. Not saying the Battery don't give him that, but the market's different, right? And so when it comes to team of the week, save of the weeks, all that kind of stuff, Kuzminski deserves it just as much as anyone.
Downs getting a talking to here after the challenge on Repetto.
2 quality saves, 37 minutes into the game. The one from distance to the bottom corner has to get real low off the left shoulder. Garay Amustafa. That's a great save on its own. Yet alone the recovery right here. So he comes out, watch the hesitation, and he starts to come back to his left shoulder and go to ground. His feet come underneath him, still gets up to make himself big and pick out the ball headed inside the near post.
Not only is Kuzminski a better goalkeeper than you, Devin, he's smarter than you too. Mechanical engineering major, time at UAB. Did spend much of 2020 on loan in the Israeli Premier League, and felt like he came back a better player than when he left. That's always the ambition with a loan. It certainly was the case, and Repetto is walking off under duress. He was helped off, and as soon as he got to the touchline, collapsed to ground, and they'll continue to work on him here. That could be a massive loss for Charleston.
You can't lose another one up top and expect to continue to churn out results. Remember, 4 goals to his name over his 7 appearances for the Charleston Battery. Not a bad look. He and Nicky Daly have pretty much carried the brunt of the workload up top offensively.
Kelly quickly lost by Nicky Daly. Sarakostas swung his foot in. Kelly is pursuing Garay.
Joe Kuzminski in the sense that he comes back July 8th. Could have been 60% through the season, but COVID didn't allow that to happen.
Ricochet nearly gave Loudoun another chance at goal.
We didn't restart. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. Was it the 11th?
Well, it was the last week in June we started to see some teams begin. It was a slow roll.
But games, actual games.
Yeah, the last.
July.
Correct. Apologies. Last week of July.
Slow down.
Yep.
Your weekend away is getting ahead of you.
Contact from Gudula. Goal kick. The NWSL came back the last week of June, and it was a few weeks after that that the USL Championship was first back to home markets.
Good recovery.
Yeah. And Google was not my friend there. There is a change here for Charleston. You're gutted for Repetto. Sub is brought to you by Segra. Bunting comes on in his stead. Bunting did score on that goalkeeper assist against Charlotte, who, by the way, messed around and added a Premier League champion in Christian Fuchs
No big
today.
deal. No big deal. Former Leicester boy makes good.
There's already a couple folks in Tampa Bay among the social media friendly fans saying, "Well, you're playing the Rowdies. You got to bring in Christian Fuchs."
78 appearances at the international level. Not a bad pickup on loan until the end of the season, right?
Yeah, from Austria. Ball ahead here for Loudoun. Oh, they've got one back. It's Mustafa toning in beautiful fashion. What an offensive performance this has been from both sides in the first half. It's 3-2.
Much better decision-making here by Nicky Downs in the midfield. Watch the man from Yale. Wise beyond his years. The right shoulder run. Last time he went left. Look at the little peek. Don't catch him sleeping this time around. Just eases this thing forward. Take a little bit off of it. Stick it out in front. I said the window didn't need to be that big because Mustafa and Smith are that talented. You grab the former. More importantly, you get back within one.
And that's a public address announcer after my own heart. That's almost precisely how I'd go about it. Could there possibly be a first half equalizer? Downs waits, rolls wide. Coup Di Pietro, who started the comeback trail. Free kick conceded by Loudoun. Pinto getting way upfield. Claudio Repetto scored in the 4th. Stavros Zarakostas a tap in the 9th. 22nd minute goal from Ted Coup Di Pietro got it to 2-1. Charleston appeared to take control in the 32nd through Repetto, his second of the game. But Mustafa in the 41st has thrown Loudoun a lifeline. Ball rolled through and pushed out by Walls. Corner Battery. Didn't you come in tonight, Devin, just thinking there were goals in this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Had a real good idea that the way that Loudoun United have been knocking on the door all season long, the quality form we've seen out of the Battery the previous 2 matches, that there's going to be a few in them. Didn't expect 5 in the first half, can tell you that much.
Into the 44th minute. Service for the Battery. Meyer. Kelly got there before Mustafa did. Second service. Meyer off his line. And to some extent, perhaps bailed out by the referee because he didn't get that well, but there was contact.
There's a little bit of contact here with Nicu Daly. Nicu Daly actually pulls out of this on the backside, and Keegan Meyer, well out of the comfort zone, outside the top of the 6-yard box. Does come down flat on that side of his. Really shows you the true testament of the character of these young men. Loudoun United not willing to just back off here, Mike. Could have easily ended up being 3 or 4-0 for the Charleston Battery in the first half. Not for Ryan Martin's squad.
Pass. It is an own goal! Hogan and DeRosa were both trying to keep that out. Loudoun equalizes just shy of halftime. Wow!
This is something else. Strap yourself in. 6 goals in the opening 45 minutes. From really any which way you can ask for Loudoun United. We've seen Mustafa, Kudi Pietra in the middle. Smith has been a thorn in the side up top. Just asking for a bit more out of pass on this left side, and you finally get it. Even off the deflection, they'll take it. What a ball back across.
Pass, you sweetheart. He's more than happy to take credit. 45th minute own goal from Patrick Hogan. Into the penalty area, Charleston looking for a response. Bunting scuffing that toward goal. Minutes of stoppage time brought to you by Ortho Virginia.
Fantastic. I think Germany won 4-2 and Portugal scored 4 of them.
Well, based on the ensuing carnage, tough to tell who fouled whom, but it is a free kick for Charleston. Harmon has touched every blade of this artificial grass.
That's clever.
7 pause.
Truly. Little pat on the back. Putting in the extra work, huh?
Come on, White! Come on!
The work is if I could tell you what kind of artificial grass it is. In Colorado Springs, I can do that. In Loudoun, I can't. There's no cork-a-nut in this field. Header steered wide. Came off of Harmon. Still another minute or two here. Good throw, bouncing in front of goal dangerously. Another corner to come. Coming up at halftime, Devin and I will talk about the goals of the week. We're going to be really aggressive about which goal we think is best. We're not going to leave it up to question. And then you get the vote. Ball across here once more, failing. Can Garay get a touch? No, Kelly. Angelo Kelly sending a seeking ball. He'll get another bite of the apple. Kelly end line once more. Walls. But Garay lost it.
Failing.
Failing. Service. Chested in front of goal and stabbed home. But the flag is up. It won't count. It's offside. Leland Archer way upfield, puts his hands on his head, he can't believe it. And now pass the other way for Loudoun. The splits from Kelly to recover for the Battery. Turned over to Sadavia, and Smith Coup di Pietro, dancing, looking for support, pass. Rolls over Garay, leading across. Smith wasn't going to get there.
I like a red one better, but give him yellow. That's right.
Well, someone's going into the book here. And it's going to be Nicu Daly. Back to this.
Mike, pay attention to the run coming back through the middle. Bunting. That's the argument. Because the ball played to the back post, he's not offside. The argument is Bunting. And does he interfere with the play? He doesn't touch it, which makes it very difficult for me to understand because the goalkeeper's already been beaten. There's no defender in the area.
Nicu Daly gets the yellow. On the precipice of halftime. Literally.
Good half, Loudoun. Good half. Way to come back.
Well, the shouts from the Loudoun fans are telling what a comeback it was for Charleston. That is perhaps the biggest issue here tonight. They knew Loudoun would be a handful, but Repetto going down with an injury is irreparable.
Can you make the adjustments come second half? Because you do have quality and you have depth on the bench. This came down to load management for Mike Anhauser. And the fact that they've given up 3 in the first half, that's something you never hear out of a battery squad. Ryan Martin, Loudoun United, well done. Didn't put their heads down in the doldrums. They kept their spirits high, worked their way back into this match. And for all the expectations that have been this squad in previous games, finally coming to reality in the opening 45 minutes.
Off to halftime we go. It is presented by Segra. A look at goals and team of the week, news and notes from around the league, and I hope we saved enough time for 6 goals worth of highlights. Loudoun 3, Charleston 3.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
Welcome back to the USL Championship on this Tuesday evening from Leesburg. Halftime is presented by Segra. Loudoun United taking on Charleston Battery. Every player dreams of getting a Goal of the Week nominee, and Devin and I get to spotlight them. They're presented by Select. Kuzminski, can we talk about it more? Of course we can.
The problem that I have with this is it's more about the assists than the actual goal.
But I mean, is it?
It is. Oh. It is. It's a chip from 16 and a half yards out.
To the former goalkeeper of the year. All right, you're right.
So it's sitting in the number 1 spot. Oh, Connor McGlynn, come on. This is definitely the number 1 right now out of 2 choices.
I mean, to be fair, he once scored from half field. Anywho, RGV, does that do anything for you?
It's a good header. It looks like it came off his shoulder, too. I'm still with Connor McGlynn.
Okay, Kyle Murphy from Memphis 901 FSC.
Good header. Still no Connor McGlynn.
Nice ball by Gonzalez, no?
It's a better ball than it is a finish.
True enough. And then how about this late stunner from the Republic? That's an Academy kid.
Is it just me or are 4 out of 5 of these out of the air?
That might have won it for me.
I'm going with Connor McGlynn. Keep going.
Okay. Here's the team of the week. It's presented by Clear Audio. Kuzminski, of course, makes the cut.
Danny Barrera moves to 39 assists all-time in the USL Championship. Not bad, trailing Oler Simon Asante and Canado Forbes. Jose Gallegos. Dear Lord, can't even vote, can't get a license in some states, definitely can't buy alcohol. Goal and 2 assists in his performance against New Mexico United. Love that. Alex Dixon, 3-1, New York Red Bull 2. Apologies. Nathan, no goals through 9, 4 goals through 11. The average is starting to get better. See the math there? You see it?
Yeah.
Good.
Makes complete sense.
Respect.
And, of course, in that midfield, Gallegos might be the young gun, but Forbes and Barrera among the league's all-time leading assist getters. If you call them vanilla, you might want to throw some sprinkles on them. They're as good as it gets. Loudoun and Charleston at halftime here in Leesburg. We've got plenty more coming up here. News and notes from around the league. First half highlights as well when we return.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
The 18, the Marcus Sargent goes to his left, hard strike, and it's in the net, 2-1 Oakland.
Split, another massive stop. Shoots, deflected, and a big save from Rawls. As Asante takes this on. Oh, that's a tremendous goal from Solo.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
If you were injured tomorrow, the ER may not be your best option. At Ortho Virginia, we can treat urgent orthopedic injuries without an appointment and diagnose non-urgent injuries virtually through video visits. Take the first step toward recovery, because stronger starts here.
Download the new Loudoun United app to stay up to date during the 2021 season. Receive team news, roster updates, ticket specials, contests, and more delivered directly to your device.
Segra presents halftime from Loudoun County and Leesburg, Virginia. Loudoun 3, Charleston 3. What a half it was. We'll get the highlights later. We begin with news and notes from around the league. New Mexico will always be in a lab of some sort, but they won't always be in the lab. They've got a new stadium in mind.
Any idea on the new nickname for the new lab?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Okay. They're breaking good. Clear Audio Player of the Week, Joe Kuzminski. We just showed it. He also gave 2 reasons why he could be up for it again. The 3 goals, however, tell a different story.
Definitely didn't help. Quality saves beyond belief by the goalkeeper from Charleston Battery, Joe Kuzminski. But the 3 never helped. USL Championship back. Phoenix Rising visiting newcomers Oakland Roots, trying to make good for the loss that just was Galaxy 2. Tell you what, Mike, Phoenix Rising coming off of one of the better performances they've ever put together as a team. Oakland Roots with an extremely impressive roster. Can they put it all together and take down the big boys in the Western Conference?
Because it's only Tuesday, we haven't hit hump day yet. Let's take a look back to the weekend. Hartford over Miami, maybe biggest win under Harry Watling yet. Birmingham over Indy in the Central Division keeps them in line with Louisville City. Tampa Bay over Loudoun 3-1. Anything else stand out there?
The Orange County-Sacramento Republic game is an interesting one. You and I have talked about that, the fact that neither team willing to really step out and make a run at either getting back on track for Sacramento Republic or Orange County trying to track down Phoenix Rising. I will say in the Central, given the way that the games have played out, Louisville, of course, sitting in number 1 at 27 points. Birmingham Legion sitting number 2 at 25 points. Louisville City, an excellent opportunity on Wednesday to further that gap. But then they host OKC on the weekend, and I'm still trying to figure out, we talked about the 4-horse race. Really, it's 2 with everybody else following.
Charlotte plays Tampa Bay in a game that could have pretty significant implications in the Atlantic Division. That's Saturday on ESPN Plus as well. We've only just begun. You think 6 goals in the first half were good. There may be goals in the second half, too. We'll show you all 6, however. First half highlights and second half kickoff when we return to halftime presented by Segra.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Halftime is presented by Segra, 3-3 at halftime, and what a half it was between Loudoun and Charleston. You guessed it, first half highlights presented by Segra. We begin with Charleston getting on the attack. 4th minute of play, Harmon tees this up.
Not bad, not too shabby, good ball off the chest. Not the greatest of touches, but it is a little pressure by DeRosa that gets them into trouble. Ball squeaks back across. Repetto, let's double it. 5 minutes later, Nicu Daly, explosion of speed. They missed this so much at the start of the season. In absentia for so many different players, Nicu Daly comes back. Zarakostas grabs his 3rd on the season. Not to be outdone, no. Kuda Pietro, one of the youngest to ever wear the captain's armband in the USL Championship this season. First time he's wearing it for Loudoun United. Tickles the nylon. Second goal on the season for Ted Kuda Pietro. They get it to 2-1. Charleston Battery offended by it. Turn up the heat. Repetto, and one of the better finishes you will see all season long. Beautifully done. He has been such a magical addition to this squad. Problem is, goal in the 32nd, he's out in the 40th minute, injury. Just 1 minute later, Nicky Downs, absolute masterclass from the midfielder. Ball down into the channel, little touch into the back of the net. It's 3-2. Loudoun United, for everything that they bring to the table, goals isn't usually one of them. They have a hard time defending down the stretch. They have a hard time sticking the ball in the back of the net. Lady Luck with a little help from the outside pass. The only one who hadn't really stuck his head out in the first half, trying to find the run back across. Hey, why not? We'll take it any way we can get it. 3-3 at halftime.
Halftime stats presented by Segra. Loudoun vastly more possession. That's not abnormal if you follow Charleston or Loudoun, to be frank. The shots, 15 in total, nearly evenly distributed. And the Repetto show for Charleston and Loudoun's team effort to get back in it stand out beyond the simple numbers.
Mary running.
Well, we're about ready to go here for this second half of play. You've got to be frustrated if you're Charleston. We showed the injury report early on, and it felt like the walking wounded. It'll be even more so the case without Repetto in this second half. They do have some firepower off the bench, or can Loudoun grab win number 3 of the year, potentially jumpstart their season? Opening touch of the second half, and we are underway. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Segra Field in Leesburg. Charleston 5 points out of the playoffs right now. But they do have 3 games in hand on Paul Dalglish's Miami FC that failed to come away with points on the weekend against an upstart Hartford side. Mustafa rolls that across dangerously. Charleston can run. Kelly able to connect with Bunting. Gray. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products, special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Back heel for Harmon broke down. Hospital ball, Zarakostas chasing. And lob forward. Maybe there's something here early in this half for Loudoun. It's chipped toward the net and wide of the post. Mustafa trying to get the finishing touch. Paz and Smith making a dynamic dual run downfield.
How about the ball up over the top, though, Mike? What a ball that just splits the entire back line. Logan Gadula didn't see it coming. Paz did. Great understanding that this would be available to him. That's how Loudoun get you. They lull you in one area, they strike hot in another. So many different variants on how this team moves back to front.
Offside flag raised against Zarakostas.
And that was a great ball. That's one you're just sitting on the bench or you're on the field and just going, wow.
Pinto, right?
Great
I believe
ball.
Hit that?
Yeah.
You know, two things stand out from the conversation we had with Mike Anhauser, not this week, but before the preceding match between these sides, which was a knockdown dragout. The first was the fact that Charleston learned far more about cicadas than they had ever anticipated, which was actually a funny side to this conversation this week. But also underestimate Loudoun at your own peril.
Yeah. We discussed it a little bit in the first half that not just within their respective division, Mike. You know, the Hartfords, the Tampas, Charlotte, Miami, but throughout the league in general, people are paying a lot more attention to what goes on East versus West, as opposed to just within your own conference. And now everybody taking notice of all of the talent out there. Loudoun United, one of the ones that have a real high talking point about them. And most guys, it just comes down to this. A lot of rotating pieces and youth, and that's all it is. Talent is never questioned for Loudoun United. And you could see that as guys are continuing to get more opportunities at the next level. And that next level might be within another club in the USL Championship. It might also be with the affiliated DC United or beyond that. But Ryan Martin and his staff, everybody within this organization, doing such a fantastic job of really harnessing what's in front of them and pushing them to the next level. You were always taken by that, what's the best path for the player, not necessarily for the organization as a whole, right?
Ben DeRosa. Zarakostas stayed onside this time. Wonderful recovery. And blazing speed from Mustafa. He's pulled away from the pack. Paz turns, flicks on Mustafa. Paz, Cudi Pietro, Paz, Cudi Pietro once more. He knew that'd be a corner. This corner kick is brought to you by Loudoun Economic Development, a team that's always in your corner. The stampeding faithful await
behind the Kuzminski guarded net. Corner, Loudoun. Here's Kuzminski. Is that Darlouise Paz making friends? Face guarding Joe Kuzminski?
Little do you know, he's actually in mime school. He's going to have something to fall back on once the glitz and glamour that is a professional footballer subsides. Got to have that secondary career waiting in the wings.
Was that your backup plan? Can't stay quiet that long.
No, that was my mother's wish. There's a difference. Definitely go play in the corner and talk to the wall and be quiet to yourself.
But what if you make the walls yourself? Comes to Pinto. This is Jeremy Garay. Hassan Pinto again, the 23-year-old from Durham, North Carolina, a year at Duke, following a good career at Elon. Bit of a perilous run through midfield. And opportunity for advantage broke down. DeRosa. Two twins playing in this game, an exceedingly rare feat in pro soccer. Ben DeRosa and Matt DeRosa. Matt playing for Loudoun. Ben playing for Charleston. Ben was drafted in the second round by NYCFC out of Maryland, came out of the Bethesda SC Academy. DeRosa, first round pick of Toronto, followed the same matriculating path. Ball slid between the center backs, but falls for bunting. Stavros Zarakostas. It did deflect. It is a corner for Charleston. So Matt DeRosa there and Ben.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
As a twin with
Yes,
no
that's why
athletic
Well,
ability?
I
No,
mean,
I can't.
That's why I'm asking you to imagine
Right.
it.
My brother was represented the U.S. in rowing. So
It's a feat.
he's a real athlete.
Can you even swim?
I can't even float. This will get out beyond Garay.
There's a couple different instances where specifically brothers had the opportunity within the championship. You think about the twins from Sporting Kansas City too, the Rod brothers. They play together though.
Mm-hmm. There are three brothers out in the Western Conference that all came out of UCLA together, right?
Milwaukee, absolutely. Remember the Weehans, his younger brother Charlie plays for Monarchs.
Yep.
Of course. Brian and Milan. And some of the Las Vegas brothers, and then Monarchs. Eric involved there. Daniel and Miguel Gonzalez, they were with OKC Energy FC, and Miguel was with Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Miguel Gonzalez had one of the all-time goals in the league with OKC when he was there. The flip throw to bicycle kick.
Remember also Carlos Alvarez and Efrain Alvarez.
Sure.
Absolutely. Vegas and Galaxy.
Yep.
Galaxy 2, excuse me. Although now he is with
Galaxy. And LAFC 2. And by that I mean Vegas.
Yep.
It was a different time back then. Free kick won here by Nique Daly. Walls shows his displeasure. He's on a yellow card from the first half. Not that that puts him in any danger of a second. The irony is the only job I'm qualified to do in a boat is to be the coxswain, but I'm too tall and also too heavy. So the voice is there, but the rest of the
arguable. Arguable.
Nothing like weighing the boat down. So, no, me and my twin brother never got to compete with one another.
Look at Zaragoza, wide open top.
Delivery here from Failing. Diving header is in. Charleston has grabbed the lead, and DZ Harmon did it the hard way. And that is his first pro goal.
There's a quick little look to the top of the 18. Zaragoza's wide open. They don't go there, though. This is some kind of ball whipped in by Burke Failing to be able to find the man-child that is DZ Harmon on the back post. Mike Anhauser just talks about the raw ability harnessed within this young man. Never in question. Finally getting everybody on the same page from a set-piece situation. No Zico Lewis, nor Robbie Crawford. But an excellent ball put on a platter by Burke Failing.
Pride of Coastal Carolina, couple Sun Belt titles. Multiple changes coming here for Loudoun now that they do trail in this second half. Walls will come off. Bobby Dambrot among those who came in here for Loudoun, so multiple changes. Matt DeRosa has come off as well, so the Twins are separated once more. Subs are brought to you by Segra. And Hasu has come on as well for Loudoun here in this second half. Costas banging around, and Hasu sends this out toward midfield. And this sprinting ahead, Kamarni Smith. There'd be another equalizer in this for Loudoun. Smith awaits, had Pass behind him.
They really are fun to watch.
Both these sides right now are fun to watch.
Not if you're a coach.
No.
You're sitting on the sideline right now and leaking space and goals left and right.
Good news is Ryan Martin has a great head start on hair follicles, but they won't be there much longer at this rate. Rolling for Pass. That's stretched beyond his reach.
I want to see what they do on the back line with the departure of Owen Walls, if they end up switching to primarily just the three. Now, we've seen that quality rotation in the first half, but they were, I think Pinto and Walls sort of drift off of each other on the right side. Both, of course, extremely accustomed to playing in the man-marking outside back spot. And Matt DeRosa, so good, whether at the collegiate level or his short time here in the professional ranks of playing that hybrid style player at the left back that you can pump up into a wingback style role.
Taken over by Charleston here. You saw the follically gifted Ryan Martin a moment ago. This stage speaking with deputies as to how to move this forward. Play's going to come back, and boy, if you're Loudoun, this is a total mismanagement in theory of the advantage rule. Misplayed in the back. Ball across Kuzminski, claims with Mustafa running in. DeRosa in between the shoulder blades behind him.
Espinosa, Zara Costas. Still here for bunting. Finally Loudoun up to the task. That's a clever pivot. Failing. Stuck his foot out, and Coup Di Pietro got the wrong end of that for sure.
Nicky Downs filling a very interesting role right now for Loudoun United. He just pinches off to the right a little bit. Down underneath, allowing Jeremy Garay and Hosu to really hold the shape on the inside for Loudoun right now. They have been chasing a lot, but the space with this little tweak by Ryan Martin in hopes that they can close down some of the movements that have come through the interior. And then falling back onto the back line next to Saravia. Almost like a hybrid center back there, allowing him to step up into the midfield as well.
Archer backing up with Smith angling toward him in the back line. Smith trying to fill that front running role. Held over by Pinto, and play will come back. It's the 5th all-time meeting between these two franchises. They were supposed to play one more time last year. It was canceled. Loudoun only played, turns out, 13 games instead of a 16-game season. Charleston, as a result, only played 15. And that group was decided by average points instead, rather than packing one more game in before the playoffs began. The first 4 games, Loudoun did win 1, but 10 goals between the 4 games. We have 7 tonight.
Something's amiss.
I can tell you it's going to be an extensive video session. Loudoun starting a 3-game homestand here. They're going to be off until next week. They'll face Charlotte and then go away to Charleston on the 13th of August. They'll host Colorado Springs here on the weekend. Colorado Springs, we've come to find out, is right in the same territory as Loudoun. Should have a lot more goals than they do, theoretically.
Especially in some of the bigger games, right? The expectation of what they should be doing as opposed to what's actually come out. San Antonio, Louisville.
Failing, and this header steered off target. Loudoun came in on a 4-match losing skid. Hartford, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay. None of those losses in and of themselves all that painful, but if you're Charleston, you're looking at this as trying to hold serve with the top teams in the group.
There's so much irony within this league this year.
Irony is one way to put it.
It's just,
when you play teams as many times as you do in the group format, and a little less this year in the divisional format, opened up play a little bit more, you're going to get some weird results that will lead you to go, oh, that's ironic. Mustafa. Offside flag went up here on Hasso. It's been more or less every week you and I have had a head scratching, really,
there's
result.
Would say every week for the past 5 weeks, and more than one per week.
Yep.
Where it's, I mean, whether we're doing pick'em or talking about it on USL All Access, there are some shocking results, both in good and bad ways.
Devin, I'm going to prevent you from getting yourself in too much trouble by suggesting what the results were, but
well played.
But some have been very surprising, yes. Dambrot came into this game for Loudoun. He's on it now in the 67th. Bouncing in front. Who touched that last? Smith wins the appeal. Corner Loudoun.
Really trying to overload the midfield here, Ryan Martin, with Nicky Downs playing as this little go-to center back. Steps off the back line, up in, pushes Nanan and Jeremy Garay up higher. Darlois pass just sort of tucks himself inside next to Kuda Pietro. So you have two impressive attacking midfielders because Robbie Dambrot is playing a very extended role at that left back spot.
Subs are brought to you by Segra. There's several here. And it's a couple of defenders coming in off the bench. Now Logan Gadula coming off answers for one. But Nikiu Daly, frankly, never really got into this game all that much. For having 4 goals, you would think Daly's got at least one of them. He was somewhat held down in this game. Patterson comes on, and so too does Temi Adesoden. Corner Loudoun. Away by Kuzminski.
His assist was brilliant to start. And everything that you could ask out of your striker up top. The problem is the performance truly faded from that point in the 9th minute. Let's see if they leave Ben DeRosa at the left back spot, or they're going to switch him to the far side of the field. I'd have to imagine with the addition of AJ Patterson that you rotate him underneath DZ Harmon.
Up here to Kelly. Tried to bypass Kudi Pietro and failed. Paz returns. Kudi Pietro. Asu. Kept here by Loudoun. Pinto. Patient here from Loudoun. Now Loudoun will get after it a bit more. Downs. Oh, the dummy.
Clever done.
Gray got tackled. And Harmon on the wrong end of that challenge. Another change coming here. It's Loudoun, and well, Samson Sergi was listed as unavailable, but it turns out he will go. Marnie Smith will come off. He was on the team sheet, so what do you make of Smith continuing this effort up front?
He's getting better for sure. Again, asked to play a different role than he has so far, whether collegially or stepping into the professional ranks. I did like to see the 1-2 between he and Mustafa. I'm wondering what those roles look like if you flitch them. Move on Mustafa into the 9.
Yeah.
Smith to the outside.
Sergi throws his hand up. He wants the service, but that service is well off the mark. It's been an impressive performance from Ku Di Pietro tonight. Devin, I think some people probably underestimate the value of the captain's armband, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're the only leader, but oftentimes it does provide an impetus on you to provide more of that vocal effort.
People look to you, Mike. I wore the captain's armband from about 10 years of age until freshman year of college. Lost it because I was the newbie. wore it at some semi-professional things prior to gaining a contract and never wore it again because everywhere I went, I was one of the new guys. It's very difficult for someone to step in and sort of take that leadership role. And then think about some of the young ones as well. Cuda Pietro, I've seen him wear it. Of course, tonight, and you think about whether you're playing well, playing poorly, you're looking for a spark. There's an emotional aspect to all of it as well. You're put in that role for a reason. The coach entrusts you with the responsibility that you can be the guiding light for this team no matter the circumstance. And the fact that that man right there, Ryan Martin, is willing to put that into the arms of someone like Cuda Pietro and everybody that he's had the opportunity to work with, whether at youth, collegiate, or professional level, really goes to show you what he thinks about him as a player.
Failing. Oh, he was behind midfield. That would have been clean break. Still on Mustafa. Stabs it forward. The return on Mustafa brilliantly from Paz. In steps Kelly. On Mustafa kept it still. Hasu whittles that wide. If that got through to Mustafa, he's played onside by the halfway line. He is gone. Brought down with a deflection. Kuzminski rises up. Haas grabbed his shorts. Thought he hit that clean. Make no mistake, Loudoun's won 2 games this year. At New Mexico and at home against Pittsburgh. Those are good teams. Some would claim them to be elite. Pittsburgh now top of the East alongside 2 other sides, 27 points. You and I were going to talk about that on USL All Access and ran out of time.
Well, that's what happens when new stadium drops and an owner says,
Big
sure.
Pete. Big Pete's like, here
Big
we
Pete
go.
Trevisani. New Mexico United. What a conversation that was. Go check it out. Available on the Sirius XM app. Shameless plug.
You keep this up, I'm going to do the promotional literature for it. Pass.
Hit it.
Pass! Some real electricity in that foot from Darluis Paz.
You can see it just open up perfectly for him. The Venezuelan, lovely move to the interior, and as he does, he drops this shoulder, Mike. There's so much space for him to have a go. Now some extracurriculars.
Mustafa and the newly inserted Patterson.
Right there, that elongated touch that beats Angelo Kelly.
Oh, he had a beat.
It's one of the most difficult balls to hit, Mike, where you're at pace and the ball's moving away from you at an angle, but also the vertical threat is coming too. So you've got pace behind the ball, you're at a top end speed, and then you have to try and keep this thing low. Your natural body is to reach for it. It's going to extend and stretch towards the ball.
The way Kuzminski is playing, it takes a bit of luck or a bit of brilliance to beat him right now, and that came mighty close to the latter. Mustafa getting an elongated conversation from the referee. Given away by Kuzminski. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio. Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, Brian Dunseth, and USL All Access every Tuesday night, 7 Eastern. And also hear live action in the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. And if you turn that app on tonight, what you're going to find out is Devin and I were in 2 places at once. Hasu, grinded down by Ade Soden.
That was a good play, though. You
at him, my man.
Still 14 minutes here. Charleston fans must feel pretty weary right now. Loudoun fans enthralled. The attack on once more. In on DeRosa, who slid in brilliantly. The denial of Bunting. Another Dambrot going downhill. Corner.
Come on, fam.
This corner kick brought to you by Loudoun Economic Development, a team that's always in your corner. Failing comfortable to continue. The big body of Sergi becomes a notable target on a set piece. Danger brewing. Good from Mate Soden. Dambrot trying to get back. Bunting laid it off. And a free kick won by Failing. Injury here is the latest in a long line. Bunting remains down. Player who grew up going to Battery games, went to Bishop England High School and then to SC Upstate. And the athletic trainer whispers into the microphone. Good time for everybody to get some water as well while they attend to him.
This is Groundhog Day for Mike Anhauser.
Brutal.
A knock on the far side of the field. He's just thinking, what do I have to do? As you see Zico Lewis getting ready in the background. Not a bad option to have coming off the bench, though. The workload that he's been put through recently, they would love to have been able to give him the night off. And another injury, at least for the moment, with Bunting. Of course, the 2 goals we saw out of Claudio Repetto start the game in spectacular fashion were pushed to the wayside in the 40th minute with his departure. Bunting stepped in. There's definitely a gap in that step right there for their substitute. What a great story he is. Local lad does well, and well, that was a quick change.
And based on the sub windows, Charleston has to make both changes at the same time here. So if you're going to make a move for him, you had to do it now. Mario Piggott and Zico Lewis. See their numbers flashed on the board. Zico Lewis, outstanding once again with Bermuda. National team for a decade now, since he was 17. Gold Cup preliminary stage was ousted there. So Lewis and Piggott, the Panamanian Youth International, check in here, both mainstays. Subs brought to you by Segra. That completes the available substitutes for Charleston, barring a potential additional window due to a head injury. Piggott, some time at Tauro, pretty well-known club in Panama. And came to the U.S. to play at a 400-student junior college in Indiana. Ball laid ahead. Sergei trying to beat to the back post. Kuzminski claimed that pretty comfortably.
Doesn't catch it square though, Mike, is the problem. Comes across and tops the ball after the great little move put on Patrick Hogan. Hogan has really struggled in transition tonight in the relationship between he and Leland Archer. Will be some movement for the Charleston Battery, given all the pieces that they've lost. And Kuzminski, why not? A little boot polish. Laces out. I go with the loop, swoop, and pull instead of the bunny ears, you know? It's a little bit easier.
For some reason, our director, Gage Tillotson, is singing a song from the show SpongeBob SquarePants about how to adequately tie shoes. Not sure why. Giovanni Montes de Oca will replace Paz here, sub brought to you by Segra. And then how about this for a change? This is the 4th Academy player to debut this year for Loudoun United, as they'll turn to Jackson Hopkins off the bench for the first time. Welcome to the show. And what that means as well is that 6 players who were not in the 18 last game for Loudoun will feature tonight. Free kick, Charleston.
They'll take their time here too, especially with the addition of the substitute. See if you can isolate a mismatch. Cuda Pietro furious at how this is playing out. Referee asking them to back off here. The addition of Zico Lewis, he's going to fancy himself from this distance.
He'll fancy himself from any distance.
Pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
Well, there was a multitude of people on that bench who've been fairly vocal.
You won't do anything to the other team ever.
So it's an assistant coach who's gone into the book here. Ryan Martin stays clean. Got to have a squad behind you to handle the...
Takes a village.
It does.
Still point out Zaragoza. I know they didn't use him last time we were able to score, but look at him right at top of the 18.
Lewis. That's a tremendous ball. Ade Soden puts it out over the top. Luis Guevara into the for his book, by the way. I believe that's the video analyst. Away by Meyer. Still just over 5 minutes left in this one. Charleston with a 4-3 advantage. It was garnered by way of a back-and-forth affair this second half. DZ Harmon, 57th minute, goal number 1 for the Battery. And the Battery are looking for insurance. 5 points out of the playoffs, but 3 games in hand on Miami and others ahead of them. Side that has made the playoffs every year of the USL Championships modern era. That's a risk, and one ultimately well worked by the newcomer Montes de Oca. And Charleston thought they'd make something out of that. It's a half-hearted effort from Harmon. Devin, have you seen anything from Charleston that's turned the tide here a little bit? Because it feels like Loudoun's ability to get into the final third, the momentum has been stymied a bit.
Stymied a bit. You have to understand that the addition of A.J. Patterson, your out-and-out left back, bringing him back in, that's a huge one. That's not a disrespectful comment to Ben DeRosa, just with the understanding that he's still finding his way here at the professional level. And when you have so many moving pieces on both sides, understand that it's not just what his team looks like, but the fact that he's marking Hiram Mustafa, one of the most electric players within this division. You've got Kamarni Smith branching off there, Kuda Pietro. That's a lot for one player to handle, and you know he did his best to try and do so. And A.J. Patterson was a huge key piece to that.
He did just come back a week ago from the Gold Cup, less than a week ago.
I would say that
there's something brewing here. Shrugging off the challenge, a tackle and a foul. Harmon wins the penalty that could give Charleston an assured 3 points on the road.
It's the right decision too. Harmon, with his ability that is just so naturally talented. The big frame, the explosion, twice gets himself into trouble. There's an initial little contact right here, catches on the backside, and then a second one that just clips the entire left flank for DC Harmon. Kuda Pietro trying to keep the boys up here. An opportunity for Keegan Meyer to bail the substitute out and keep his team in it. What a run by DC Harmon again. He's so good at turning the corner, putting his head down, and just challenging in one-on-one situations.
Intriguingly, Charleston has been the most snake-bit penalty team in the league. He seemed to have one called against them most every game. They have not taken a single penalty all season. And it's Zico Lewis fresh into the game with a chance to bag his third goal of the year, and in doing so, a fifth for Charleston would sure feel like lights out.
A little conversation with the sideline first, and checking on Kairu. And Mustafa, make sure he's all right here.
Went down behind the play, and on the other end, Sue commits the foul on Harmon. That opens the door here. Myers waited long enough. Referee making sure everyone's clear on the ground rules. Do they have to? I believe they have to make sure that the post isn't vibrating. Well, crowds come alive here. In the 90th minute, Zico Lewis delivers. Calm, cool, and collected. 5-3 Charleston. And it appears they have survived quite the road scare.
What a track meet this has been, and the regiment, everybody grateful to see their man back in action. This team hadn't scored 4 goals in quite some time. Let's take it even further. The last time they put 5 in the back of the net, October 19th, you guessed it, 2019. It was against then known as Bethlehem Steel. Philadelphia Union 2, as we know it in this day and age. Bosua with 2 goals, Atula Guerra, and your outside back, A.J. Patterson. So the inclusion into the squad doesn't get him a goal, but it does have some memories that come back into the limelight with Zico Lewis bagging his 5th for the Charleston battery of the night.
Ortho Virginia stoppage, and Mustafa again grimacing as he limps out of the challenge from behind. If you're Loudoun, you're staring down the barrel now with 5 consecutive defeats. You give up 5 goals here. You got it to 3-3 at halftime. Such resilience against a team that at full strength, most everyone believes will compete to win the Eastern Conference. And the top 5 teams in the Atlantic Division in a row for Loudoun, and it appears they're going to drop all 5.
Think about the fact that, Mike, they hadn't scored more than 2 goals but twice this season. And when I say more than 2, it's been only 2. They put up 2 goals in a 3-2 loss on June 2nd to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And they put up 2 goals in a 2-1 win on June 30th versus the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a team that notoriously has been one of the better defensive teams in the entire USL Championship. So you think you're sitting in pretty good shape bagging 3 against the Charleston battery coming out of halftime, but not the case.
Kuzminski's only given up 15 goals in 13 games. 3 here tonight, including an own goal. Sergei. Well, there's no PK coming for this. It's Hogan, whose own goal put Loudoun on level terms just shy of halftime. Locked up.
That's not a penalty for you?
No.
Good on the fans for being spirited. We appreciate it.
The referee doesn't. Sergei appears through again. Sergei stepping on Archer. Everyone's a critic. Everyone wants to be a referee. And Sergei's return to the field, characterized by a few decent looks here late on. Charleston will go away to Miami on Sunday, and then last time they played Pittsburgh, the doors were closed because of Hurricane Elsa, not because of COVID. Friday night in Charleston's become a bit of a thing, and it'll be the case again when the Riverhounds pay a visit in a week and a half. And they'll host Loudoun on August the 13th before going away to Hartford. It's a stretch of 8 straight games in the Atlantic Division for Charleston. Put simply, for all the injuries, if you put together a good record in these 8 games, give yourself a real chance. Piggott, offside.
How does this division end for you? The way it sits now, or does someone jump out of the top 4? Right now it's Rowdies, Pittsburgh, Hartford, Miami.
For me, it's very difficult to imagine that Charleston doesn't make it.
Agreed.
Once they get healthy, and they're even
I don't
unhealthy.
know who slips out as the problem.
Yeah. Ryan Martin just went into the book for a yellow card. Oh, good from Hopkins, sweeping that forward. But in doing so, he played into an offside position.
Mike Anhauser said it best that this is going to come down to the final game.
Yep.
For someone. And it may be getting into the 4th spot, it may be grabbing the number 1 spot, but there are just too many teams within this division that have much too talented players for it to get done that early.
I think you could argue there's probably 2 of the 4 divisions where home field is going to be decided. Maybe you're going after the division championship, or you're just going after 3, 4, 5, that neck of the woods. This is not that division. It's going to be tooth and nail. Mustafa, clever. Checking down. Sue couldn't do anything with it. Coup di Pietro trying to get by Kelly. Ricochets wide. Referee gives the watch a glance. And that is that. Charleston goes on the road. 5 goals. It was 3-3 at the half, and Mike Anhauser's side had to sweat it out tonight. They do get all 3 points and move 2 points shy of the playoff line.
A team that's not necessarily known for tickling the nylon. Charleston battery stick 5 in the back of the net on the youngsters that average just over 20 years from age in Loudoun United. Home squad was able to grab 3. You thought that might be enough. Turns out that wasn't the case. Slow start for Loudoun United, get them in trouble. Charleston Battery make it 3 in a row.
We'll wrap this one up on the other side of the break. Which DeRosa was going to win tonight? Well, the answer is Ben. Hopefully the first of many matchups between the Twins. 5-3 Charleston. Highlights and Dev's final thoughts when we return here on ESPN+.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Charleston goes away to Loudoun tonight, picks up a huge win for them, their 3rd in a row, and they're now just a couple points shy of both Hartford and Miami, and they've got games in hand on Miami FC as well. Harmon picking up the key goal late on here to help the Battery secure all 3 points. The save of the game is presented by Segra, Devin. I mean, that was going to go into the goal.
It's a good save on the near post, little deflection. I'll give it to him. Good on Keegan Meyer. What else you got for me? I'm ready.
Full-time highlights are brought to you by the National Conference Center. We start all the way back in the 4th minute. 2 goals inside 10 minutes for the Battery. It looked rather dire.
3rd on the season for Claudio Repetto. Well done by DZ Harmon to stretch this back line, open up, but let's put it on repeat. Run it back. 9th minute for the Charleston Battery. Little ball up over the top. Nicu Daly off to the races. Drop it into 2nd gear. Rev the RPMs. Pick out the back post. 2-0 to the visitors.
Zara Costas banging that home. Head to the 22nd minute. You look to the guy with the captain's armband, and it's Cudi Pietro, the 2nd youngest to wear the armband in the league this year.
22nd minute. Wears 21. Average age of 20. Would never know it. What a little run through the middle by Cudi Pietro to stick it in the back of the net. The problem is they would concede just minutes later. Repetto grabs his 4th on the season. What a back heel. What a finish. 8 minutes later, he goes off, though. Bunting steps in just before halftime, sitting up 3-1. Loudoun United not to be outdone. Mustafa, the brilliance that is the winger, but it's the ball through by Nicky Downs. Watch the little glance over the shoulder. Here you go, pal. Do the dirty work. 3-2. Good finish by Loudoun United.
And just minutes later, it's the leading scorer. It's own goal.
Sometimes, Mike, you need this, though. You need plays like this to help get your season back on track. And what a better way than just before halftime, get it to 3-3. Let's turn up the temperature a little bit here. DZ Harmon, what a header. Just full force shoved into the back of the net out of the ball whipped in by Burke Failing. Stretched the game, DZ Harmon. Anhauser said just naturally gifted. Absolutely. Zico Lewis steps in for Bunting. Only got 40 minutes out of the substitute. You only need a couple. That's inside 10 for Zico Lewis as he grabs his 3rd on the season back from international duty.
Here are the Segra full-time stats. Loudoun, drastic possession advantage, ultimately plays to Charleston's benefit. They score on 5 of their 7 shots on target. Devin, a chance for your final thoughts.
Was really impressed with the conversion rate for 2 teams that notoriously and statistically don't deserve it. Loudoun United are at the bottom of that normally. 8% within the USL Championship. Charleston Battery, yeah, they're a little bit higher, sitting at 16. It's something that is so applicable to success, Mike. Your ability to convert your chances, no matter how many you put out there, you have to be great when it comes to being in front of the goal. The problem for Loudoun tonight is on the other side, you had to be better defensively. They got one part of it right. Takes two to tango. They fall again.
All right, well, Loudoun, 5th straight defeat. Charleston, 3rd straight win. Homestand continues for Loudoun United against high-powered Colorado Springs. At the end of the week, Charleston will go away to Miami, come back home August the 6th. For entire Vista WorldLink crew, led by producer Dustin Curl, director Gage Tillotson, Jackie O'Mara, and Steffi Aguilera, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Battery fully charged, all 3 points, 5-3 winners.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.